So, we're officially the new Newsday managers, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Spag's given us complete creative freedom, so we can basically do whatever.
Yeah, we can do plenty of skits, come up with lots of jokes, steal FNG's entire format, laugh at clips, we could introduce a clip of the week segment, like, the possibilities are endless, realistically.
I mean, that is cool and all, but, like, we don't even, like, have a name yet. I've got one. Greetings one and all, and welcome to Overwatch This Week, your one-stop shop for all the Overwatch news of the week. So, what's been going on in the community? Well, to start, Skiesti hosted her Guardian Angel charity tournament in an effort to raise funds for her stepfather's medical bills after he was grievously wounded. The tournament saw content creators drafting teams and competing through a round-robin into a single elimination bracket, where we eventually saw KarQ's team take home the W. But, as previously mentioned, the point of this tournament was to actually help raise funds, so, in a show of solidarity, donors across the Overwatch community managed to raise a whopping $23,887 by the end of the event. The GoFundMe is still open for donations, and we'll put a link to it in the description if you want to donate. In general Overwatch news, we also saw Lifeweaver fully come out in ranked this week. Of course, the devs made some changes to him to try and make him a lot more viable, which saw him lose his parting gift passive, but to be honest, Lifeweaver doesn't need buffs, he needs divine intervention to be viable. Currently, the only reason his win rate isn't in the negative win rates, despite Fitzy's best efforts, is SK. All praise our Lord and Savior SK, tricking people into thinking he's good so they pick him in ranked versus me. Free wins, baby! And now it's time for the wackiest part of your week! Wins, woes, or whimsy!
Ça joue sur Cookie Clutch en fait. Tu sens que c'est close, hein, vraiment.
Thank you for watching Whims, Woes, or Whimsy. This week also saw the return of something great. Owl is back, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo! Thursday saw the first games of the 6th season of the Overwatch League, now with a fancy new desk setup and actual analysis. The games kicked off with a bang, with a 5-map thriller between the O2 Blast and the American Tournoi. The San Francisco Shock and the Toronto Defiant, which saw proper deadlifter map already. Damn, he's good. Then the newly revamped Washington Justice defeated the London Spitfire 3-1, where one of the worst games of King's Row was ever played. What is it with London and dumb stuff happening on King's Row? The opening day ended with the Florida Mayhem winning versus the Vancouver Titans in a 4-map series. Friday opened up with the Atlanta Reign beginning the 3 Overwatch streak in NA with a sweep over the NYXL, followed by 2 more sweeps with the Outlaws easily beating the Gladiators, and less surprisingly, the Valiant getting swept by the Vancouver Titans. Saturday saw the return of APAC. Let's go check in on our resident Dallas Fuel fan, Krabby, to see how he's dealing with the fuel being in Korea. Oh dear, he seems to have overslept. Actually, that's probably for the best. Now, on to the rest of APAC. As per org standard, the Seoul Infernal came in second in the battle of the Seoul teams, losing to the Dynasty in a 5-map banger on LAN, in which they almost won 2 control rounds in map 5 just to choke and throw them away. Again, as per org standard. Flettank also made his debut versus the Chinese super team in the Hangzhou Spark, and let's just say all that Winston practice from the Echo copies didn't quite pay off. Saturday night saw the return of 3 Overwatch, this time in a 4-game deluxe edition. The Justice and the entire nation of France bullied the Eternal in Game 1, #FreePool. The Outlaws pushed aside the Valiant in Game 2. Game 3 saw a local rivalry. Well, I suppose it wasn't much of a rivalry because Boston swept the NYXL quite effortlessly. And to finish off the days, a potential contender for Game of the Season, a preview of the Grand Finals maybe, a definite certified banger of a game waiting to happen, and it was another 3-0. The Reign, led by Lip Sombra, effortlessly swept aside Proper and the San Francisco Shock. Damn, Lip's even better. To finish off the weekend, we finally saw some Lifeweaver gameplay as the Eternal committed the cardinal sin of somehow losing to whatever the heck this is. Boston continued their "there is no conflict in the Boston uprising" streak, beating London 3-1, and Lee Jae-gon seems to have quite enjoyed that win. The last game of the week was a matchup between the Toronto Defiant and the Los Angeles Gladiators, and let's just say the Toronto Hive Mind aren't beating the mid-allegations. This week also saw the East Region Spring Open as the best contenders teams in the East duked it out to qualify for a spot facing the OWL teams, with the O2 Blasters first seed Dreamers as second seed and SPG as third seed coming out of Group A. In the other bracket, Pokerface were the first seed, Panthera being second and Rhodes being third, came out of Group B. These teams will join the OWL teams from the APAC qualifiers and the Spring Stage knockouts later in May.
And now for a blast from the past, Tuesday News Day.
In Arena 51 news, we'd like to remind you about our upcoming Open SR tournament being held on the 13th and 14th of May. Sign-ups are still open and will remain so until midnight on the 12th. We have plenty of spots just begging to be filled. Wait, that came out wrong. So make sure you get those applications in. We'd also like to remind everyone that with the event of the new OWL season, our Pick'ems leaderboard is once again open. You can compete with myself, Krabby, and other members of the community to be the biggest brain OWL fan out there. Finally, A51 team The Piffles has disbanded. We wish all the members of the roster luck in their future endeavors.
That's all for Tuesday News Day, folks.
Now it's time for the Clips of the Week, where you guys send in your clips to the A51 Clips channel and we feature the best ones of the week. This week, well, only one person actually submitted a clip, so I guess they win by default, but we need to make this vid last longer. Hey, Krabby! What should we do about that?
Well, I've got some cool clips, and I bet you do too. We could just ego boost and include our own clips.
Oh, sounds like a good idea. Well, enjoy Krabby and I boosting our egos. First up, the honorable mentions.
No, there's a more up.
The best kind of Dragon Striker, the one that's like lands at the fight when it's already over.
Okay, ready? Go, 2, 1, now. Sim.
I'm snided. Rambo.
Lucia's in the skybox. Oh, she's staggering.
Next, the top 3. In third, we have myself. Damn, look at me go, punching that Rhine off the map like an absolute Chad!
Nice.
Second, we have the Crab Guy himself. I don't know what he's saying, but he seems pretty happy with that clutch he just did.
Rompe lamp. Cima.
Tenés que comer al Sigma, Si...
Coméntelo, que es inmortal.
Vale, bien.
El buff aquí.
Arriba.
NP, solo queda. What the fuck.
No, esto es la cama.
Revienta. No, ha llegado el buff.
Tú puedes, Krabby.
Buena, cara.
No, es que soy rotísimo,
Muy buena.
Uy.
And in first, we have Jessi with an impressive rock onto a Valking Mercy that not only stunned the Mercy, but stunned Jess herself. And that does it for the first edition of Overwatch this week. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, slap a like on the video, and you can check out our Arena 51 socials down below. That was all from me, Funky, and your editor, Krabby. See you all next week.